Hey everybody, happy Monday and welcome back to some good old Sims 4 Through the Veil. We are visiting the Nyms today. It might be a bit of a shorter story line. I will be honest. Excuse me, sorry. I took these photos a while ago. Obviously, I'm playtesting with Todd and stuff in that other save, but also I was having some problems with the Westfalls and my game before this. So, and it might be a piece of bad CC. I am not entirely certain. I did a whole bunch of playtesting with like their house and stuff in another save file, and it's not throwing last exceptions or anything. It's just my game kind of freezes. And I was like, okay, it's the house. This sucks. Saved the house, put it in a different save, and it not having the same problems. So I don't know what's going on. I hope the game just fixes itself by the time I get back to it. But yeah, so slight concern, but don't have to deal with that for a little bit. So there's that. But anyways, today, like I said, we're going to be with the Nyms and learning a little bit more about the fates, or at least the tales of them and the balance. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy this. That very same day, the Nyms were sharing a meal in their home on the other side of Glimmerbrook. All things considered, Evandel Nym was grateful they had made the decision to send their boy Tyr away on his campus tour. The way the Westfalls were going about this, it seemed too dangerous for him. There was nothing dangerous for him in Brightchester. Foxbury would be an excellent school, or even Brightchester if Tyr decided on being a dragon. He was going to be fine. Tyr was a good kid. He wouldn't do anything foolish. Usually, Evandel had to coax him into doing something even remotely daring. Amidst his inner thoughts, Evandel's lovely wife Tiana came down to join him. "Have you heard from Tyr today?" "Oh, I do hope he's having a good time." "He might even find a lovely girl." Evandel chuckled. Love, not so fast. He has to get good grades first and foremost, before girls or parties. That was an absolute law in the Nym household. And not yet, but he'll call soon. And if he didn't, Evandel would. He wanted Tyr to have a good time, but he didn't want him to be in trouble either. "Huh, honey, before he can get good grades, he has to be accepted first," she chuckled. But they both knew he was going to be accepted to whichever university he wanted. He was too brilliant not to be. Not to mention they have a lot of money and they could just purchase him a spot. Evandel changed the subject, the mood turning somber. "What do you think about this fate situation? Do you think it's as serious as Ezekiel believes?" Ezekiel was a powerful caster, but he erred on the side of caution, whereas Evandel did, but didn't see it as such a big deal. They had the power, why not use it a little? So long as no one too important got hurt and everything turned out okay, why stress over it so much? After all, you really only have one life, and yeah. However, he never really shared this opinion with Ezekiel. He knew it wouldn't go over too well, and the Westfalls were too strong of an ally to lose over such a silly opinion. Tiana only shrugged, uncertain herself. "I'm not sure, Evandel, but..." She sighed. "You have to admit things have been strange lately. What if this Felicity fate did ruin the balance? Somehow." Evandel couldn't quite argue with that. Something had been off. Random fires throughout their home and other Sims' houses. The fire department had been ringing off the hook as of late. He knew this from work. Even some Sims agencies had their refrigerators, vending machines, and even a microwave spontaneously go ablaze. Then there was the weather. He had been struck by lightning that same night. Was it a coincidence? Or the balance? But Evandel just didn't quite see how one caster could affect the balance. I mean, one. Just one singular caster. Huh. I suppose you are right. Either way, we need to look into it. Thus, they found themselves going to the magic realm in search of knowledge. Just how did someone capture someone tied to the threads of fate? Supposedly, anyway. Evandel wasn't too sure this Felicity was that powerful. It had to be a tall tale. But she was powerful. Certainly, just that powerful? Tiana went straight to the historical tomes, determined to learn more about the Fate bloodline. It was always important to understand one's adversary before an encounter ensued, and the Nyms were a relatively new bloodline. Tiana herself had married into the family, but her own parentage was humble. Her mother had been a backwoods witch with a knack for curses, and her father had been a mortal. A mortal, not immortal. Between herself and Evandel, he had all the power. He just didn't like to talk about where he had gotten it from, but all that mattered now was the Nyms were considered powerful new blood. They held their own, but they did not have the resources or knowledge of the older lines. That only came with time. While Tiana was reading through the thick, dust-covered tomes, Evandel called a sleepy Tyr for a quick check-in. "Hey, Tyr, how's the Foxbury life treating you?" "Oh, it's great. Yeah." Tyr seemed a bit off. "Meeting lots of cool locals and stuff." "Yeah? Any of them cute girls?" Eh, maybe one. Just the one." "Uh-huh. The one got a name?" "Not yet." Tyr fought a yawn, but Evandel heard it all the same. Then a hiccup. A hiccup. "Listen, Dad, I'm fine. But you gotta go." "Uh-huh. I was a youngster once, too." "You drinking?" "At a big frat party." "Tyr, I didn't think you had it in you." "Bye, Dad. Call you later." The phone clicked amongst Evandel's chuckles. Still chuckling, Evandel walked back into HQ to join his wife. "Tyr's fine. He's having a good time." He didn't tell his wife about the drinking or the girl. Tiana would get both pissed and thrilled at the same time. "Oh, good," she hummed while stirring the thick, bubbling, viscous liquid. "What do we know?" he asked, noticing she was concentrating quite a bit. Neither of them were proficient in potion crafts and preferred to avoid it whenever possible, so to see T doing it willingly was concerning. "I am working on a warding potion for the both of us," she began. "The Fates are the oldest bloodline known, even among the three original sages. It is said there are always twins, usually sisters, but there can be brothers as well, and one is always good, and the other is always evil. Two halves of the same blade, pulled together by the same strands of fate, woven to be casters even before casters were born. It's a whole messy story with many missing pages or completely blotted out text, but it is clear. that bloodline is one of the most powerful bloodlines, if not the most powerful, even among the vampire casters or the furred beasts. They do things other casters could not fathom, and the balance is something they can taint, manipulate, and walk within freely, supposedly. Evandal sighed and began to help. He understood what she was saying. In short, be careful. He did not know much about the balance, but he knew the power it held. He knew what it was like to be touched by it, if but for a moment. How it changed you inside and out. How it could obliterate you in a single second. And the willpower it took to remain among the living if you were unfortunate enough to be noticed by that force. He had survived. The others in that temple hadn't been so lucky. If this Felicity Fate could withstand that force, manipulate it, taint it, she was something to be feared indeed. He and Tiana shared a look before working in silence long into the night on the potion, both of them glad Tyr was far away. Just in case. He would be safe at college. They had their wills situated, the house and everything would of course be his. Evandal was nothing if not careful and strategic. Everything was going to be fine, though. Tyr was a smart boy. He was his father's son, but he had his mother's sensibility. He was powerful in his own right. All he needed to do was hone his magical skills a bit more. Evandal wasn't too concerned. They had 3 days, and the Westfalls were spearheading this little meeting coming the following evening. They would make a plan, and they would stick with the plan. Felicity Fate would be contained, somehow, and that balance would remain right where it was, as far away from his family as possible. Evandal would make quite certain of that. Ooh, so things are spicing up, amping up ever so slightly. Little bit of information on the Fates and their bloodline has been revealed. Although, who really is to say if that is all true, or if it's just a big tall tale, right? Because that's kind of up there. That's kind of out there, right? Just a little bit out there. However, Tyr is not in fact at college. That's probably my favorite part about all of this. Send their boy away to be safe. He decides instead to go have an adventure. Um, and he gets poisoned immediately. As we all know. Well, I don't know if everybody knows, but I did play through a bit of his jungle adventure a few weeks back. Uh, Tyr, Tyr. What am I gonna do with you? What are they gonna do with? Actually, they're not gonna do nothing to you unless they find out. Oh yeah, my boy's gonna be safe. Oh yeah, my boy's gonna be fine. Yeah, he's got his mother's sensibility. Now he runs off to this. Forget I said swamp. I almost said swamp. He runs off to the damn jungle, and the first chance card he gets, he picks the sensible option. I picked the sensible option. I think, and he got poisoned immediately. That was the one thing he was not supposed to do. Yeah. But anyway, that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't fret about my game or whatever. I will be figuring it out. And the next episode should be a bit of a longer one. We get into really more about the plan itself and just preparing. So we will be with Felicity fairly soon, tentatively 2 more parts. I think. And then we will have caught up to current day, so to speak. 'Cause this is all still kind of more flashback, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you think if y'all want to. And I will see you all next time, potentially. So yeah, I hope you have a great week, guys. I almost said the outro for Brooks Legacy, which I'm going to work on next. Oh boy. All right. Um, have a great week. Happy Monday once again. Bye, guys.